Michael, how did you find Carnivore?
Well, Dave, thanks for having me. It's an honor. Um, well, I never felt healthy through my entire life. Um, I was like not as a kid, not as a baby, not as a teenager, not as an adult. So I was always struggling with health issues. Um, I didn't even as a kid. I didn't know that it wasn't normal to always feel bloated and gassy and pain in my gut and just feel tired all the time. And I had always very, very pale skin, like so pale, like with big bags under my eyes, and I always looked unhealthy, and I knew it. But yeah, that was my normal. So I just tried to cope with it. I had allergies, but I can't remember my family ever really adjusting the diet to it. Like I was allergic to milk, but I remember we got milk and dairy products all the time later. So I can't remember why, but so I tried to cope with it as best as I could, and but the best way I could was this distraction. So I distracted myself. So I was like, when I was a child, I got my first Nintendo. I would really be addicted to like Mario and just to not feel. Just it's strange maybe for other people that didn't suffer all the time, but if you, it's a relief if you don't focus on yourself but on something else. So that's why gaming, for example, began. But yeah, later when you're getting older, the alcohol came in, the weed. I'm from Amsterdam, so the weed came in really easily. Um, so I kept fleeing into all kinds of distractions, but it made me less healthy overall. Just like it's like a car payment. If you it's you pay everything back, but with interest, and it will stack. So I felt worse all the time. Um, that went to a point so far that when I was 30 years old, I'm 41 right now. Um, I stood up out of bed and I just collapsed on the floor because suddenly I couldn't. My right leg was paralyzed. Um, I couldn't use my right hand as well, and I was rushed to the hospital. And then they pretty soon they gave me the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. So that's why 11 years ago I got this autoimmune disease, um, with all kinds of negative effects. But it was just my body after a while just had enough. I think after 30 years of not listening to it properly, I just it gave up. So it feels like that for me, and that's how I got my MS diagnosis. And my form of MS, that's for the people who don't know, you have different forms, but my form is that you get a relapse. So you crash for a while, just like me. I couldn't use my right leg, but over like 2 years, you get better, 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 better. So you improve. So I can walk again. But I could never, yeah, you can never get back to the 100%, maybe to the 90, maybe to the 80%, but never back to the full. So, and I had like a really heavy first attack of MS that they, yeah, that it was, yeah, that it took me a really long time, just for example, to use the toes in my right foot again. And I was a rock climber before. I loved to rock climb, but I couldn't stand on my toes for the first year, uh, because I couldn't use wobble my toes. For example, I couldn't stand on them anymore. So, and after a year, they say the medical professionals say to you, "Yeah, well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't hope for that you would ever see improvements there. Just try to accept that it won't get better. But it did. Luckily, it did. Even though I wasn't on carnivore then yet. So I was pretty positive in that time. I was improving and getting a better work-life balance. But after a while, I realized I would never get back to my old job. The fatigue was so excruciating. It was so bad that I couldn't work full time anymore. My old job was gone. I couldn't dance. I couldn't rock climb, and the prospect of MS, yeah, because it's chronic, so you keep it for the rest of your life. So they say it will only get worse. So I improved with the MS for like in the beginning, and then but after a while there there wasn't any growth anymore. So the coordination in my right leg, I could use my toes again. That was great, but the fatigue was really horrible. So it had really like a mental impact, and I couldn't really accept the that this new reality. So what did I do again? And that's why I told you about the drug abuses before. I would flee again. So I would just go partying. I gave up essentially. I just thought, well, if this is my life, it will only get worse. Let's go out with a bang. It felt like that. So I partied so much. I destroyed my health even further, my teeth and my relationships. Uh, and all because I didn't know any better, just to how to feel and to adjust and to get to a point in life. I didn't have any confidence that I would get to a point in life where I would be really happy. So then, after a while, you get so sick of it. So I was so sick of the partying, the empty relationships, and so then I quit. I quit everything. So I never. That's almost 8 years ago. I didn't drink a drop of alcohol anymore. No drugs, nothing, no smoking, and that set me up to a path of self improvement. So I was really I made a switch, and then I thought, okay, it couldn't get any worse than that. So I thought, well, let's try to just be the best person I can, given the restrictions, and that set me up a path to read, finally read a book. But I couldn't concentrate. My concentration was so limited, like a goldfish. I couldn't concentrate. So what I would do is just force myself to read at least one page a day. And then I thought, well, then at least I read one book a year. And often it was excruciating. It was horrible, but I could do it. And was better, better, better. And finally, I read my first book in like 2 months, and I was really happy. And I just continued reading, and suddenly I gained so much more knowledge. And yeah, well, fast forward 2 years later, I would read one book a week, just about nonfiction, about history, about health and self improvement, and so it really set me up to a path of just knowledge. I was addicted to getting more knowledge because it gave me some levers I could pull on. From, oh yeah, this doesn't have to be the end of my story. But yeah, after a while, this improvement, there were limits. I couldn't improve anything else in my life except for the food. So I thought, well, I saw for 6 years ago or something, I saw Jordan Peterson talking about the carnivore diet. And I don't know why, but I immediately dismissed it as like a strange idea. Like, this doesn't fit in my preconceived notions of what is good and bad and right and wrong. So I thought, well, this has to be some niche for some people, but not for me. But still, it was like a seed like a seed that was planted, and it took some years to sprout because a couple of years later, I just I was fed up with my MS medication. So my MS medication was horrible. Um, I took it for almost 9 years, and then it's every day I had like really big side effects. Like for example, that you get flushes, like flushes in your that you like get really red, like but feeling like you have a fever, and that fever uh, was also you had like ants crawling on your arms, and it was really itchy, and it was just a horrible sensation. You couldn't really think. It's like being feverish all the time. So if I had to give a presentation at work, I would already stress, oh no, I don't hope I will get this side effect of the medication, because then I will look like a tomato and feel horrible. But after a while, I just thought, I don't want to do it anymore. Uh, and the one thing that triggered me the most was that I met my wife. It was amazing. I met my wife 6 years ago, and she was pregnant of our first son. But I was really afraid of how in the hell am I going to do this? Uh, uh, with this fatigue. Yeah, well, the coordination in my right leg, for example, or I went blind in my left eye for about once, and it improved, but still, it wasn't it wasn't great. Uh, but all those things are nothing compared to feeling tired all the time, because feeling tired does impact your psyche, what you can do, and how much of help you can be. So I was really afraid. I was afraid of not having enough energy for my child and my just the family. So I quit my medication. My neurologist said you shouldn't do that. I just did, and I thought, well, then at least I have to clean up my diet as much as I can. So I followed the autoimmune protocol, so like a strict paleo diet for a while, pretty strict, but I still, yeah, well, dirty paleo, not perfect, but much better than what I did before, and it helped with some issues, but not radically. But then my child was born, and I thought, well, I this diet, this carnivore diet, I was reading up to it, and I heard the stories from you, Dave, like your guests, the success stories, and they were almost unbelievable. But I thought these are it's unbelievable how big of improvements there are. But because there are so many, I thought I have to try this for myself. And I read up everything I could find from Dr. Chavy mainly, because I loved his calm and scientific approach to it that really resonated with me. So Dr. Chavy is my buffed spirit animal. he's he's amazing. Uh, and then almost 2 years ago, I tried carnivore diet. So that's how I came to the carnivore diet.
Wow. And, how soon did you realize, "Look, this is definitely something I wanna continue with?"
Uh, day two, day two was already. I felt like another human being. It was so strange. It felt like a curtain lifted in my psyche, like the fog, the brain fog you get from the MS as well, the fatigue, uh, uh, the stomach problems, the pains in my abdominals. It all lifted so soon. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, everybody says, yeah, in the first few weeks, you feel not maybe horrible, and the keto flu, for example. But now it started really, really great. It did go down a little or later. I didn't eat enough fat, for example. That was a little bit difficult to find out how much fat do I need. So I was eating a little bit too lean. Plus, I didn't in the beginning, I didn't use electrolytes. So I supplemented with electrolytes, and then I felt like a superhuman again. And I still feel like a superhuman.
Right.
Yeah.
And, so you mentioned the type of MS you have is, the relapsing kind. Is that relapsing and remitting? Is that what
Yeah,
it
that's true.
right. Okay. So in those 2 years, have you experienced any relapses?
No. My MRI, I get a yearly MRI scan still, and it was completely clean. As in clean, not the old, no, not my old. How do you call it?
The lesions?
Uh, Lesions. Yeah, lesions in English. Yeah, lesions. They were not gone, of course, but there were no new ones. So in now I haven't used medication for 2.5 years, and so it's amazing.
Wow. And so the existing lesions that are there, they're not active anymore?
No, they are not active, and we're talking about Dr. Chavy. I'm participating in his case research for people with MS and Carnivore. So they will check my all my data for all my MRIs and in history to see if there's any shrinkage, because Dr. Chavy believes that because it's a hypothesis that because of the vitamin B12 that uh, there that's the some of the old lesions will shrink in size in maybe 50%. So they will check, but my main healthcare professionals will never check because there's nothing in earth they think that will make these things shrink. So they won't check if there's any shrinkage.
Mm. So have you had any feedback on this from your neurologist or your doctor? Because you haven't had the medications for so long. Are they surprised?
Uh, yeah, well, she just I had 2 weeks ago. I had this conversation with her, and she was really afraid. She was really like she was almost calling me like a ticking time bomb. Like that, she was really afraid that she has other patients that stop their medications as well, that now are worse off. Um, she didn't believe, of course, in carnivore. That's that's what most people probably realize, that neurologists don't know anything about food. So so she was really making the case of putting me back on. But I listed to her all the improvements I've had, because I didn't say that right now, but they were. So for the first few weeks, I suddenly noticed while rock climbing that the coordination in my right foot was so much better. So normally I had like to kick my foot, like for example with walking as well. That normally you step your feet like one step at a time, but I had to step my left foot and then kick my right leg to put a step on the ground. But uh, after a few weeks, I suddenly realized, oh man, suddenly I could like walk better. I could climb better. If I would climb, I didn't have this like tremor in my leg. Do you know, like a tremor? So if I stand on my toes and would go down, then my foot would like shake like this, like my whole leg would shake like this, like a sewing machine. And this made climbing, of course, way more difficult. but so this improvement helped me so much. But the strange thing was that my energy levels increased like fivefold. So I was like I could do all kinds of things that I couldn't do before. So that was the biggest improvement. But the strangest improvement, I think, is that the left eye, which I told you about, was that uh, I could never really good focus on like a screen or like on the page. So that made reading more painful, like more difficult. Focusing on screen for long periods of time more difficult. And after a few months, my eyesight completely restored. It's 100% right now. Yeah, it's
That's
unbelievable.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the thing for most people is you go into this thinking, "Oh, well, it sounds weird. I'll give it a try. There's nothing to lose, and most people are going into it going, I hope I lose some weight or something like that. And then you realize so much changes and it feels like, why was it this easy?
That's true. Yeah, that's why I told you that I've never felt healthy in my life until now. I feel great. Uh, when I wake up, I have way more energy, although I just had a second baby right now, just 10 weeks ago. Thank you. So my sleep has been better, but still, the things he wouldn't even be born, I think, if I didn't go carnivore, because then I would have never had enough energy to have like two children under two, because that's what I have right now, two boys under two. So it would have been impossible for me to be the family man and that I am right now. So,
Yeah, I mean, 1 at that age is challenging, let alone 2.
yeah, it's
That's,
crazy.
you gotta have a lot of energy.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
can. It's my wife tells me the same thing as well. She says like it's it's like you don't have MS anymore, and that's how I feel. But I don't. I'm a little bit cautious because you never know. 2 years isn't a very long time, but I think, and even the neurologist said, yeah, I tell her everything that improved, and that's so much. I could talk about the restless legs. I don't have any restless legs anymore, for example, or uh, my right hand would shake a lot, like like shaky all the time, my entire life, and that's gone now. Um, I've more focus and I'm more happy. I feel less anxious. That's a strange part as well. Like the mental part, yeah, I wouldn't realize because I really did it for the fatigue and for some, maybe hopefully some improvements in my legs and for example. But I would have never thought that this anxiety that I was running away from with all kinds of drugs and gaming, and that this anxiety would lift as well.
Well, speaking of that area, like, has your attitude or your productivity or the way you just look at work, has that changed at all in the last 2 years?
Yes, for example, I can do my job again much better. But the main thing is I'm a chairman as well from a youth and MS foundation in the Netherlands. And we help thousands of young people who are struggling with this disease. And I could never have been like, have such an active role in this community as I do right now. So I could use all my new energy not only for the good of my family and my regular job, but to help people as well. Um, so this foundation really gave me a purpose, and but I still have energy left. So I became the admin of the Dutch Carnivore Facebook group. It's the biggest Dutch carnivore Facebook group. It's like 3,500 people right now, and still growing every day. And just started my website to provide people with some Dutch information because that's hard to get by. Because yeah, I see it as a mission just to help people, because there's so much. I see so many people struggling, and it just pains me to see them struggling the same way, or not maybe the same way, but some almost the same way as I did. I want to help them.
So, have you talked about carnivore with anyone, especially within the organization where you're helping people with MS? Has anyone given it a try?
Yeah, well, most people think I'm just crazy. uh, yeah, they think I'm crazy, and they probably think what I thought the first time I heard Jordan Peterson talking about it. It's so, oh, this is a crazy diet that maybe works for Michiel, but not. but not for anyone else or not for me. Um, but people give the strangest reasons why they don't want to change. I heard some people that have severe MS, way more severe than I have, and they say, "Yeah, but I can't go without my chocolate." That's the main response. And then I think this is a diet that can save your life if you give it a try. But yeah, people are addicted, and I know everything about addiction. Addiction, I really know a lot about. So I know how difficult it is. But I gave a podcast in a Dutch podcast. It was about ketogenic diets, and I could tell about the carnivore diet. And a lot of people with MS came to me, so I helped them. They tried. Some people tried, so that was already a great win for me.
Yeah. It's just so powerful that it can help. Whether it's just improving someone's sleep or whether it's improving things like your coordination, because you're suffering from something like MS or something like that. It's so nice that you can give someone advice about diet, and if they do it, it's like flipping a switch.
Yeah, I still I'm always looking for like the perfect solution, the perfect things I could say to make people change their mind, but it doesn't work that way. They first have
Mm.
to, just like I did. I had to have like a severe crisis to turn my life around, and I think for many people they they would have to get more desperate, for example. Uh, Before they could try this diet. So I can tell them everything about the diet, and but they don't experience the need, or they think, well, with medication it will probably be fine, and maybe it will, but they could be so much better.
Yeah,
Um,
I think people really have to feel like they've got to the point where they've run out of options, and then it's like, well, I'll give it a try.
yeah, yeah. So, but most people still think I'm crazy. But the results are too amazing to ignore. So yeah, they can call me crazy, but if I list the things that improved, that for example, the eye always fascinates people. That you could suddenly see for 100%, not 90%, no, just 100%. It lifted everything. Uh, for people, that's so amazing that they think, well, this maybe he is crazy, but the good way of crazy.
Right. So, day to day, what's your menu like?
um, Yeah, I follow a strict lion diet. So I just eat just beef, water, salt. That's it. Maybe lamb occasionally. I've eaten 5 times fish maybe, and I tried one egg and I didn't respond really well to it. And I tried some chicken and pork. I didn't. I immediately noticed my stomach acted different, and I immediately felt worse. So I just ignored it, and now I just eat beef water, salt. So usually, yeah, this morning I'd like half a kilo of picanha, like what was it, rump steak in English or something like that. And Normally, yeah, so ground beef, for example, or just steaks. Almost every day the same.
And that's 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day?
2 meals a day. So
Mm.
one in the morning, one in the evening, and almost always like a kilo of meat per day. That's like yeah, 2 pounds or something in English. And yeah, and sometimes liver, but not often. I don't feel any the deficiencies, or so, for example, I tested my blood work and it was great. So I think, yeah, well, let's just do it this way, the strict way for now. But my wife thinks I'm crazy. She still thinks, how can you not just want to try something else? How can you just eat meat? And she was, yeah, that's what main one thing I found it so difficult to just try this diet was that she was vegan at the time, my wife. It's so horrible. she thought she said you're never going to do this diet. This is crazy. And I said I'm going to try this, and I have to try this for not because I would just like to eat ground beef, minced meat like five every day for the rest of my life, but because I want to be a better father. I want to be a better partner. And she understood that. She understood my goal, and my goal was so clear. But she saw the improvements, and now she's completely supportive. She even quit veganism and is a vegetarian right now. Well, like meat is still murder, so yeah, okay, well, no meat, but at least she eats a lot of saturated fat by cheese and butter and milk. So uh, and her health improved a lot as well. I noticed it
Wow.
in her energy levels. Although we have two children right now, and she has to breastfeed and work, and well, it's hectic to say the least. But she still has more energy than before. So I think
And
that's still it's still an improvement. It's not as good as Carnivore, of course, but we'll get there. Maybe
yeah.
eventually.
And the thing is, even though, that at the outset she was kind of looking, thinking you were crazy, she still has said to you, it's like you never had MS, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So she's completely supportive right now, and that helps. It's nice to have a supportive partner. Well, she would never cook my steaks, and I won't ask her to, but that's fine. And I still cook for the entire family. That's what I do. That's what I always did. I just cook for them. And if I go to the markets, I will never buy something for myself, but I like to buy nice things for them, for my family. It's people look at me strange that I can just buy all kinds of delicious things for many sugary things or fruits or whatever, and just not eat it. But I'm just happy if they are happy. It's
Mm.
uh, it's as simple as that.
Well, so I feel like carnivore is one of these things which it's almost like once you are fat adapted, it's almost like you've got this protection shield around you that's protecting you from the cravings from all that food, So you can look at it, you can carry it, you can watch people eat it, but not feel anything anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's almost like it's not no food anymore. It's like it doesn't feel like food, like it has like a nutritional value or something. It's no, indeed the cravings. I almost never had cravings anymore. It was I thought I would get more cravings, but maybe because I was like a strict paleo before for a longer time, that it was easier to cut out all the carbs, etc. But I was having sugary drinks, so I wasn't keto by any stretch. So, but yeah, it is like a shield. I have the same experience.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So, if someone said to you, Mikhail, I want to start carnivore, tell me what I need to do. What advice or tips would you give them?
Ooh, good question. Well, what I did was at least learn as much as possible about the diet. Try to understand why would people only eat meat? Because if you skip that step, you never know the purpose of it, and I think you will get bogged down and get back on your old diet sooner if you don't understand why. Why, for example, I didn't know that there were harmful things in plants. I never knew. I didn't know that they needed to protect themselves with all kinds of anti nutrients. Um, so I was just eating a lot of plants. Um, so try to learn at least as much as possible, and then just skip. just try to eat more meat in the beginning. Just work your way up to it. That's how I did it from paleo as well. I just I noticed that I would enjoy the meat the most. I would just eat meat and vegetables, for example. Um, but I would think, oh, I would like to just eat as much meat as possible. I noticed that in myself, and just so if you just as a beginner just try to eat more meat and veg and some easy vegetables and try it and see how you feel. Maybe that you won't eat the grains and a lot of other harmful things. Oh yeah, and what I would do is just skip. Yeah, I read the book of Georgia Ede, that's she has like a step for step program and how to heal your brain, the impact of food on the brain. It's really interesting, but she has like a step by step way of how to, yeah, first like go paleo and then maybe keto and then maybe animal based and then carnivore, for example. So if you need a step by step guide, I would just read that book or just look at the podcast from her. She's like a wonderful woman that gives great talks on YouTube.
Yeah, very nice. So, Michael, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any way of getting in contact or any social media?
Yeah, maybe the easiest is. Oh, let me take a look. Yes, of course they can always, if they want to add me on social media. Oh, what's my handle? uh, Well, maybe the easiest is if Michiel at carnivore.nl, but it's not carnivore with VORE, but VOOR. So maybe if you can put it in the description, that's my email address. If people want to add me or send me an email, they're free to do it. I would love to help people.
Yeah, no worries. I'll link to that in the description. Mikhail, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave. It was an honor.